Louis was only 3 months old when he arrived at the auction house to be sold to the highest bidder that very day. But he was different than the other pigs. He couldn't see very well, though his eyes darted everywhere. He stumbled a lot and struggled to walk, though his bones and joints weren't strong. But no matter how much the workers whipped him, electrically prodded him, kicked him, and yelled at him, he wouldn't move fast enough. They made fun of him, saying he looked drunk, and laughed. The workers decided he was worthless and would soon die, and tossed him in a small pen with giant cows to languish. Louis was rescued only a short time later, but it was too late. He was dehydrated, had a kidney injury, a disease of the central nervous system, and was neurologically injured. Under the care of medical expert, his young body decided to stop breathing. His heart stopped beating, and he passed over quickly and quietly. Louis's eyes radiated with the suffering he endured every day of his short life. His panic at the sound of whips cracking showed us that he was aware enough to feel fear. In the end, he had one night of peace, care, and comfort on the fresh bed of straw with others caring for him. Millions like him will never know that moment of kindness. Even though we hoped with everything we had that he would survive, perhaps the suffering and violence he had known was too much for his damaged brain to carry. You touched us, Louis, and you inspired many to reawaken to their conscience. It was an honor to know you, though briefly. We know that your spirit is light and whole, and we know that your story will be remembered. We love you. Lamar the calf. Lamar lived a short and lonely life. He was a baby cow who was born to a mother who was commodified and used as a milking machine, forcibly impregnated over and over. She carried him for 9 months and loved him as much as any mother loves her baby. Less than 24 hours after birth, he was stolen from her and thrown into a pen full of other orphan babies, never to see his mother again. Too weak to stand or walk, without his mother's breast milk and care, the workers at the farm repeatedly struck him with electric prods to get him to walk to his destiny so they could sell his body for profit. He was rescued by a compassionate soul and received immediate medical care. He fought for his life along with his brother. Unfortunately, without his mother's love, care, and nourishment, his body was too weak to thrive, and he died during the night. He was shown a glimpse of love at the end of his short life. Today we honor him and all the babies who are ripped from their mothers for dairy, meat, and leather. Simba the cat. Simba was a beloved family member for the past 14 years and is deeply missed by his human parents. 10 months old, he was found in a ditch in Middle Village, Queens, when he was a young kitten after being separated from his birth mother, scared and crying frantically for help. After several people walked by unable to help him, his rescuer woke up from her sleep, helped him out of the ditch. She planned to foster him for a few days, but fell in love right away and couldn't give him up. For the past 14 years, he has brought his family unconditional love, laughter, endless cuddles, and beautiful memories. He loved to rip apart toilet paper and stuffed animals and chase after bouncy balls and red lasers. He was so smart and knew how to unscrew the lid off his dry food container with his 2 front paws. His favorite thing to do was squirrel and birdwatch in his backyard with his siblings and loved to get manicures and pedicures from his mom. He was a sweet and gentle soul and enjoyed life to the fullest. Even the squirrels felt safe in his presence. He is deeply missed, but his humans feel comfort in knowing he lived his best life and died at home peacefully in his mother's arms, surrounded by love. Rest in peace, Simba. Israel the raccoon. You were a young boy just starting your life. You were an adolescent, and as all adolescents, you were curious, energetic, excited about life. One night, you sought a safe, dry place to sleep, and you found one. You did not know, however, that you would come face to face with the devil the next morning, but you did. For the place you peacefully slept the night before was a boat, operated by a heartless, cruel human. The human discovered you on his boat the next morning, 20 miles out at sea. Instead of showing you a shred of compassion or concern, the human cursed at you and chased you until you fell overboard. 20 miles out at sea, you were doomed. You swam helplessly, aimlessly, terrified, until your young body gave out to physical exhaustion. You were able to swim no more, and you drowned. We know this because the heartless human monster filmed it and posted it on social media like it was a joke. While the video went viral and created an international outrage, your life was still lost at the hands of an evil, evil human being, and we are sorry. Cranky the mouse. She was small but full of love and a desire to live free, caught in a glue trap by a human who was too blind to see, dumped in the garbage and left there to die. If animals could speak, they would ask us why. She was found by a person who had empathy in his heart, so he tried to help her right from the start. He poured on some oil to lift her tiny feet, then took her home and offered her a treat. Her bones were too broken, her body too weak. Would she be treated this way if she were able to speak? Rodents feel pain and are defenseless and sweet. So instead of trying to hurt them, find them a safe place to retreat. Sometimes they get lost and end up in the wrong place. Most of the time I wonder what's wrong with the human race. Rena the chicken. Rena was a beautiful soul who was rescued last year in September from a religious ritual. Rena never knew her mom, but she was blessed to know her new friends. Rena wanted affection and to experience the grass on her feet and sunlight on her skin with her new friends. How many beautiful Renas do not experience liberation yet? In the United States, there are 9 billion chickens killed for their flesh each year. 9 billion. With a US population, human population, of about 330 million, that's 30 chicken murders per person each year. There are 305 million hens exploited for their eggs in the United States. That's about 1 hen per person forced to produce an egg a day. These animals spend their lives in total confinement from the moment they hatch until the day they are killed. Rena was a kind and curious young bird. She wanted to be loved and treated with respect. Rena joins her mother and her brothers and sisters in heaven. She will be missed by all who knew her. Frida the dog. Frida was a dog who got dumped at the New York City Animal Care Center in her later years as an old dog to be killed. A caring rescue organization found a foster for her down south and sought a temporary home for just a few days until transport could be arranged. Someone volunteered and was delivered a dog who was elderly, frail, weak, sick, and frankly, decrepit. That was the word that came to mind. She'd clearly been neglected, most likely for most of her life. She walked bow-legged from either being kept in a crate or just never being exercised. It was unknown if she would make it through the night or the week, but she did. And the person who decided to keep her for a week decided to keep her for the rest of her life, which would be what, 3 months, 6 months, a year's tops? The person figured they would give her some peace and love in her final stage of life. And this was clearly a dog who had never been given love or attention. And she expected none. But in the next 3 to 6 months, Prita blossomed. She perked up, she smiled, she got comfortable. She started to understand what it was like to be loved, most likely for the first time in her life. She started to love her new home and her new family, which included 2 other dogs and 3 cats. She started to enjoy life. She lived not just another 3 months, 6 months, or a year, but she went on to live another 6 years. It is amazing how a soul, any soul, can blossom when they are given love, freedom, comfort, and a family. We all love her, and she is greatly missed. Risa the coyote. A coyote is a dog who lives in the wild. A coyote can be a mother, a father, or child. A coyote is not here to decorate your coat. When you pay for their suffering, you are taking a vote. You vote with your dollars, so please have compassion. Choose not to let animals suffer for fashion. Canada Goose chooses profit and greed. But dogs and birds deserve respect regardless of their breed. Caught in a steel trap, they writhe in pain. Killing for fashion is absolutely insane. When discovered by a country, for their mercy they beg. To get back to their babies, they often chew up their own leg. So the next time you shop for clothing, accessories, or food, remember that killing animals is selfish and rude. Think about the animals you love and consider a pet. And please make choices that no one should regret. Please don't animals suffer and die. It's easy to live vegan. If you're not already, give it a try. One day, while delivering mail, I was horrified to find a dead cat with a brick and rocks lying next to her. A woman I asked saw the man who killed her, but did nothing, saying she didn't know it was illegal to kill cats. She just called sanitation to pick up the body because it, or he or she, was an eyesore. This is the apathy and callousness with which animals are often treated in our society. I'm sorry you suffered, little one, at the hands of a violent, hateful human. Another day I found a dead squirrel, a nursing mother hit by a car, dead, body still warm. I spent days searching for the mama's nest to try to rescue her babies, but it was nowhere in sight. Whoever recklessly hit that poor mama squirrel is not only guilty of killing her, but also of letting her babies die a slow death from starvation. Her mama and her babies are honored here today. We wish there was some way we could help. This isn't a eulogy, but it's a poem I want to read. It's called If I Were an Animal. If I were an animal, what would I be? Frankly, I think I'd be something like me. I'd want something comfy to lay on at night. I'd want to be free from terror and fright. I'd want all my siblings, my mom, perhaps dad, to give me some guidance and hugs when I'm sad. I'd want all my friends to play with all day, excited with life and finding my way. I wouldn't want cages or dungeons or bars to keep me from seeing the sun or the stars. I wouldn't want devils to make me feel beaten. I wouldn't want breeders of me to be eaten. I wouldn't want steel or a cold cement floor to be all I know with no chance to explore. I wouldn't want sunlight and fresh air and grass to be kept from my species while we were slaughtered en masse. If I were an animal, what would I be? Frankly, I think I'd be exactly like me. We honor these animals today,
Can you move back a little?
cradled in our arms. We honor all those that can't be cradled in our arms today. The ones who never had a chance to be rescued, the ones who never got to experience love or a family, those that are thrown in shelters, trapped in factory farms, stuck in circuses, trapped in tanks, cages, barren environments, animals used for testing, animals raised for food, animals used for clothing. It doesn't end, and we have a big job ahead of us. But we will see the light, and we will hope for change, and we will make it happen. And with that said, I'm going to read one more thing. Author unknown. This has been on my refrigerator for years, and as I was walking out this morning, it caught my eye, and I grabbed it and decided it needed to be read today. And I want everyone to truly think of its meaning within yourself. I looked at all the cages, suffering animals, the cast-off of human society. I saw in their eyes love and hope, fear and dread, sadness and betrayal. And I was angry. Goddess, I said, this is terrible. Why don't you do something? Goddess was silent for a moment, and then she spoke softly and said, I have done something. I have created you.
broken pieces and lay head upon my shoulder. Sleep through the stormy winter. We'll stay. You know I will be at the end of it. No, I'm never alone. The times are hard. I hold you close. And I'll feel you. And I'll do the same. You know I will be at the end of it. Tears rolling down your chin, that understand. And fear stealing from the softness of your face. How it may overturning corners out of this place. You know I will be here at the end of it. You know you're never alone. The times are hard. I'll hold you close. Yes, then I'll feel you. And I'll do the same. You know I will be here at the end of the day. The arms of love will pick you up, wrap you up till you catch your breath. Catch your breath. Through the storm and reckless skies, endless days and the sleepless nights, I'll be by your side. You know you're never alone. When times are hard, I'll hold you close. Just then I'll feel you, and I'll do the same. You know I will be here at the end of the day. You know I will be here at the end of the day. You know I will be here at the end of the day.
Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no country, there's much to do. Nothing to kill or die for. No religion to imagine all the people living in empathy. can say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world could live as one. Imagine all the sensations. I wonder if you can. No memories, greed or sorrow, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people living on the sea. You can say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one.
I'm in here, can anybody see me? Can anybody help? I'm in here, a prisoner of history. Can anybody help? Can you hear my call? Are you coming to get me now? I've been waiting for you to come rescue me. I need you to hold all of the sadness I am held with inside of me. I'm in here, I'm trying to tell you something. Can anybody I'm in here, I'm calling out but you can't hear. Can anybody Can you hear my call? Are you coming to get me now? I've been waiting for you to come rescue me. I need you to hold all of the sadness I feel inside. Can anybody see me? Can anybody help?